Officer Patterson didn't even bother knocking this time. He just stood there with that exhausted expression he wore every Thursday. "Mr. Sullivan," he said, shifting his duty belt. "We got another complaint from Mrs. Harwick that you're squatting in your own home." Behind him, I counted 5 patrol cars and a code enforcement van idling in front of my house like they were responding to a bank heist. And there, standing on my lawn with a smile that could curdle milk, was Patricia Harwick, HOA president and self-appointed queen of Emerald Heights. What Patricia didn't know was that she'd just made the biggest mistake of her petty little life. Because the man she was trying to evict from Unit 14B wasn't just any homeowner. He was federal Judge Samuel Thornton. And he had connections that went all the way to the Department of Justice.
"I'm Thomas Sullivan.
Retired Marine, appellate defense attorney. I bought this place for peace and quiet. But Patricia took an instant dislike to me. She ruled with an iron fist. She once tried to fine a family because their baby cried at 2 a.m. The real trouble started when I took a month-long trip to Wyoming. I did everything by the book, but while I was gone, Patricia decided my dormant native grass, part of a certified water-conserving xeriscape, violated maintenance standards. She filed paperwork claiming I'd abandoned the property. Her board, basically her bridge club, voted to repossess my house. They removed my mailbox. They took my house numbers. They even stole my favorite patio chair. I came back to a notice taped to my door, "Unauthorized occupant. Immediate removal ordered." She'd even changed my locks. My own locks on a house I owned free and clear. I decided right then, Patricia Harwick had declared war on the wrong Marine. Patricia started calling the police daily. I was harboring an unauthorized pet, because a neighbor's cat sat on my steps. I was dealing drugs, because FedEx delivered a package after 6 p.m. But her masterstroke was the deed. She saw 2 names, mine and S. Thornton. She assumed it was an ex-spouse and issued a banishment order. She didn't realize S. Thornton was Samuel Thornton, a sitting federal judge for the 11th Circuit. He was my law school roommate, and he was staying with me while his D.C. townhouse was being renovated. Tuesday morning, Patricia showed up with a locksmith and 2 sketchy security guards. Judge Thornton answered the door in his federal court robes. He was about to start a video hearing. Patricia sneered. "I don't care if you're dressed like Judge Judy. You're trespassing. Take your little briefcase and find a motel." She had the guards physically toss his briefcase and laptop bag onto the lawn. Judge Thornton looked at me, pulled out his phone, and made one call. He spoke for 45 seconds in that contempt of court tone. "Tom," he said with a slight smile. "Why don't you make some coffee? This is about to get interesting." 22 minutes later, 3 unmarked black SUVs pulled up. Federal agents stepped out, badges gleaming. Then the sheriff arrived, looking panicked. Then a U.S. Marshal. Patricia's face went from smug to pale, to a light shade of green. By noon, she was sitting on the curb wrapped in a beach towel, shaking. She was trying to explain to a very stern federal agent why she had stolen and destroyed classified court documents related to an ongoing federal case. They were in that briefcase she'd tossed on the lawn. I did the only reasonable thing. I made popcorn, grabbed a lawn chair, and sat next to my garden gnome. The federal investigation took 3 days, and it felt like Christmas every morning. They audited 10 years of HOA records and found a goldmine of corruption. Patricia had forged 40 signatures. She'd fabricated meeting minutes for votes that never happened. And she'd misused $42,000 in HOA funds. Turns out, the landscaping budget went toward her personal collection of concrete flamingos, a decorative cannon, and a hot tub she claimed was for board executive sessions. The local news loved it. The headline was, "HOA President Evicts Federal Judge, Gets Evicted from Presidency." I gave one interview. I wore my bathrobe and held a mug that said, "Not today, Karen." 6 weeks later, Patricia stood before Judge Catherine Morrison. She tried the poor bookkeeping excuse. The judge wasn't having it. Mrs. Harwick systematically abused her power to harass, intimidate, and steal from her neighbors, the judge said, her voice freezing fire. She showed no mercy to them, and this court sees no reason to show her any. The sentence was a hammer blow. 5 years in federal prison. $200,000 in restitution. And a lifetime ban from ever serving on an HOA board again. Patricia's face went through every shade of pale. She turned to look at me and Judge Thornton in the gallery. I saw the exact moment she realized she destroyed her life over a patch of dormant grass and a need for control. Her lawyer had to carry her out. Me? I went home, sat in my favorite patio chair, and enjoyed the quiet. For the first time in 2 years, Emerald Heights was actually peaceful.